Hello fellow AI art enthusiasts, time for another Midjourney video. This time we have a kind of a combination of prompt and style exploration. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing I wanted to do was to try out the default style with my usual style exploration prompt, which is just the period symbol and seed number 777 of course. I have seen that fairy guy show up sometimes, but the other images in the grid are quite unique and not really looking like they do when the styles or SREF codes are applied. That's actually surprising. I thought the kind of a default baseline would look different than it actually looks like. Now we get to the prompt exploration part. I actually selected 8 prompts to try out for this video. First was the coloring book page. This prompt was suggested by Jennifer B, and I featured this one in the previous SREF style exploration video as well. This prompt usually makes everything black and white. The default style seems to be really detailed and quite advanced. The second prompt I tried out was Minecraft build style. I was in need of some fast hours, so I ranked some photos for my personalization. It takes a long time, but it's a good way to get free fast hours in addition to being one of the 2000 rankers daily. So while doing that, I came across a prompt that used this as one part of the prompt, so I thought I would try it out. It gives the images kind of a blocky feel. The third prompt is whimsical surrealism. Thank you to Paula Nue 8173 for suggesting this prompt. The prompt looks quite literally whimsical and surreal. The default style seems to somewhat resemble fairy tale or children's book illustrations. And the fourth prompt is knolling. I'm sure this is nothing new, but I personally have not tried it out. This was one of the prompts I rediscovered for myself when ranking images. It always gives such an interesting look to the images. Sometimes, it can look slightly like nonsense, but I guess it works better if you accompany it with a theme. Moving on to the fifth prompt, icon logo. I have used the logo prompt before a long time ago. I thought I would try this again, especially to see how it has evolved since I last tried this. The logos look all really nice and clean without any nonsense text. These look almost minimalist compared to the ones I remember them looking like a while ago. Sixth prompt was clip art design, yet another prompt I discovered while ranking images. It was in a way more complex prompt, but I like simple prompts, so I just picked this combination to try out. It seems to generate really strong colors and lots of flowers. Most of the time it seems to be on a blank white background. The seventh prompt is watercolor airbrush. I think I have tried both of them out on their own at some point, but this is a combination. Airbrush usually looks really nice, but the watercolor adds some softness to it. Seems to be preferring eyes for some reason, without a direction of what to depict. And the eighth prompt is obscured face. Something more artsy or edgy, I guess. Again from ranking images and taken totally out of context. But it looks nice, seems to be preferring photographic style and fabric to obscure the faces. And now, let's do the same thing, but combining 10 SREF styles with the same prompts we just went through. First off, style number 2500. Cozy Forest Fantasy. It looks like a cartoon and all the images are in a forest. Let's see it at a closer look. It's a cartoon, all right, and even actually anime. The coloring book pages have slightly too much shading for my taste, but it's much less detailed than the default style was. Minecraft looks blocky, but with a cartoon twist. Whimsical surrealism seems just random images from an anime. Nothing too whimsical or surreal, lots of birds, for some reason. And knolling tries to add cartoon characters in the image. Very chaotic actually. Icon logo seems to be a weaker prompt with this style. We get some characters instead of logos, mostly. Clip art design is also girls with flowers, not as clear as with default style. Watercolor airbrush has some softness to it, but otherwise just anime girls. Obscured face looks quite interesting. Still anime, but it's like the drawing was interrupted and only the eyes and eyebrows were drawn on the face. Style number 2501, Cosmic Retro Illustrations. There's some unusual color schemes with a really retro comic-looking style. Slightly looks like science fiction. Coloring book pages have some big black colored in areas and lots of tiny details. It's an interesting style, but maybe not for coloring. Minecraft build style doesn't look too blocky actually. Just big castle towers, there is minimal effect on this style. Whimsical surrealism looks fun. It's indeed surreal. Some floating islands with planets. Knolling looks quite nice. Again, really tiny details that don't necessarily make any sense. All of the images on this page don't really follow the prompt too much. The style just overrides everything. There is only slight nudges towards some differences. The style looks pretty abstract and weird actually, when I look at this set of images. Style number 2, 502, Desert Pink Photoglow. You may remember this style from my recent photography video. But I decided to include this to this video as well. It looks quite pink with a slight vintage feel. The coloring book page looks oddly anime-like. But all the rest seem to have more of a photography look. Well, Minecraft looks pretty much like a combination of photography and video game graphics, but that was kind of the point of this prompt. Knolling looks like the belongings of a teenage girl. There is a pinkness overload. Logos look kind of like logos. Not sure I like them too much though. Clip art looks nice. There is a slight Asian influence appearing in the watercolor airbrush and obscured face. This style is a kind of a mix. Style number 2503. Bioluminescent Dreamscapes. This looks partly illustration, partly photographic with a bioluminescent glow and some silhouettes. Coloring book page is a nice surprise. It's very simple. The only thing that bothers me is that the lines just seem to stop and not continue from one edge to another. Minecraft build style looks very blocky and actually almost like out of Minecraft. Overall, the bioluminescent glow doesn't really appear anywhere. We do see a kind of a mint green color in many places. Whimsical surrealism has again gone towards a children's book illustration. And again, there's birds. This style doesn't seem to listen to the prompts, but end up doing its own thing anyway. There is some green glow in these images. Logos look almost like logos, clip art not so much. Watercolor airbrush seems to have more of the airbrush and not too much of the watercolor. Obscured face images look interesting. There's silhouettes and smoke. Style number 2, 504. Aqua Veil Reflection. I also had this style in the photography video. Seems to be playing around with water a lot. Coloring page doesn't have the water though, but it's really detailed and intricate. Minecraft got a photography upgrade. There is lovely lighting going on everywhere. Whimsical surrealism again has so many birds there. And knolling does some makeup things. I keep seeing the skull in the knolling quite often across many of the styles. Most of the logos look really sleek. I don't know how the Viking got there. Clip art looks partly photographic, partly really stylized illustration. Watercolor airbrush looks really nice. This feels like an influencer Instagram style where models have a lazy sultry look with the mouth partly open. Style number 2505, Dreamy Blossom Realms. Very pink, illustrative and delicate, and has a soft glow. Slightly Asian feel to it, but let's look at it more closely. I guess I was wrong about the Asian look. The coloring book pages look kind of too faded and complex and shaded. This style seems to be overriding most of the prompts. Minecraft only has some castles and houses, but they don't look too blocky or anything like Minecraft. Whimsical surrealism continues with the birds. Slightly surreal, but not too much. Even knolling is mostly doing something else entirely. Everything is really faint and delicate. Icons don't really look like icons at all. Everything looks quite similar actually. It's a nice style, but it overrides everything and doesn't really want to listen to the prompt. Obscured face has kind of an Asian anime feel with the sharp jaws and noses. Style number 2, 506, Citrus Pop Collage. There really was a sudden concentration of the photography styles in this range of styles. Coloring book pages look mostly like black and white photos. There's too much shading going on, not too useful for this kind of thing. Minecraft looks more photographic, it has just done some buildings in this style. Whimsical surrealism does have some whimsy, Some surrealism and again, with the birds. Knowling looks pretty great actually. It's a good balance with the objects, and there isn't too many of them crammed in there. This page seems to look basically the same. The style just overrides the prompt. The images are interesting, but I guess there are only very few things that actually influence the look of this style, and these are not it. At least, you see different kinds of images. They're not too similar to each other, at least considering I used the same seed number for all of them. But they're not listening to the prompts either at all. Style number 2, 507, Burnt Acrylic Dreamscapes. This is a pretty abstract looking style. It's hard to make sense if there is actually anything depicted in these images, or is it just random colorful noise. Coloring book page brings in some clarity, but it's so messy and chaotic that I don't think this is suitable for that. Minecraft images look like very unusually shaped buildings that have a really strange color scheme and texture. At least whimsical surrealism doesn't have any birds. It looks slightly surreal, but mostly just weird. This is a very noisy style. I do like the logo images. They're a mixture of some shapes and this weird style. The rest of the images are quite overridden by this style. The watercolor airbrush and obscured face images look really similar to each other. Style number 2, 508, Soft Petal Harmony. A much more clearer style, looks like digital art. The compositions look kind of strange and the hands look slightly weird. Coloring book pages look too shaded. Just this style but black and white. Minecraft looks just like buildings, not too much Minecraft visible here. Whimsical surrealism just has some flowers and birds again, nothing too surreal or whimsical about them. Knowling looks something that it's supposed to look like, but the perspectives are kind of wrong. It's like some of the things were attached to the wall somehow. And the last 4 prompts look pretty same again. I do really feel like this style overrides all the prompts. There isn't really anything reminiscent of what was prompted. Style number 2, 509. Playful Fairyland Illustrations. A really whimsical and cute digital illustration style with slight fantasy themes. Coloring book pages look nice and mostly simple. Some grey shading here and there, but overall nice. Minecraft does have a blocky feel to it, but this style is strongly present there also. Looks like a cartoon or a very colorful computer game. Whimsical surrealism does have some surreal elements and the style looks even more whimsical than it did before. We still have birds here too. And knowling looks okay. Not perfect, but it's mostly doing what it was supposed to. Logos do look like logos, but they're maybe too complex for logos. They are cute. Clip art design doesn't really look what I would have imagined it to look like. Watercolor airbrush does get some softness to it. And obscured face looks very interesting and actually unexpected. It's almost photographic in some of the images. Alright. We're ending the exploration here for this video, but we shall continue looking at more styles on my channel. I will try this kind of format for some time to see if it's more interesting for you guys. I do plan on making, kind of, compilation videos as well about the styles at some point. And this kind of takes me back to exploring different kinds of prompts and word combinations, like I used to. In more bite-sized chunks. I would also like to have some input from you which of the prompts you liked the most out of the ones we looked at here. There is a poll on my YouTube page and on my Patreon where you can vote for your favorites. I will keep the 2 most popular prompts for my next exploration video. And you can also comment and suggest prompts I should try out. I will pick 1 or 2 of those to feature as well if you would like a shout out in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this style exploration. Come check out my Patreon, I have a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching and let's continue prompting.